What's up, guys? I want to talk about lean bulking, dirty bulking. If you've thought about the pros and the cons of those two things, then you might be interested in this, okay? If I could give you one tip for losing weight, it would be to cut your eating in half, but obviously that's not fucking healthy, so stick around and let's fucking gain weight or lose weight, alright? This is just all from my experience of the past 3 years. No science backed behind this. Besides the stuff that I've done on my own time, I guess. There is real and evidence-based content behind the stuff that I'm saying, but I've just not linked to anything directly in this video. Basically, I wanted to ask, who was the first guy that you wanted to look like? The first jacked guy, the good-looking guy. For me, amongst others, it was Arnie, like his physique is what I mean. And if you're weighing up the pros and cons of a dirty bulk versus a lean bulk, we can try and get you closer to that goal. I've had 2 years experience of dirty bulking. 1 year I did it, took a break. Another year I did it, took another break. The first thing is, we're starting off with the pros. This is a long list of things, so probably don't have to write this down, but just listen in, okay? You're hitting a calorie surplus. You've got to be hitting a calorie surplus. The way you can do this is you use a calorie counting website. If you just look up caloriecounter.net, I think it is, on Google, put in your weight, put in your age, it'll give you your rough calories you should be eating. But I'll get into that more later. The first pro of a dirty bulk. You gain muscle almost as fast as new gains. So in the first 2 years, you're gonna gain shit tons of fucking muscle. Putting on 5 to 10 kilos will increase your bench 20 kilos, increase your bicep curl 5 kilos, increase your squat 20 to 30 kilos if you really try. The next thing, cutting down from this can keep a lot of muscle. There is still a lot of muscle to be kept from this. It's not as bad as you might think it is, even though you might hear a lot of influencers saying, only lean bulk, don't ever do dirty bulking. There are benefits and pros to cons, otherwise bodybuilders would not have done this in the past and they wouldn't do this even today still. There is benefits to it, so I don't have a side for this, okay? When I cut down to 90 kilograms from 80, I remember I lost only a few kilos of strength at the time. And that being said, eat a shit ton of protein, just a fuck ton of protein. Make sure you don't lose that much muscle when you're cutting down. From the bulk, the dirty bulk. Another thing is you can actually enjoy the food that you eat and feeling pretty content most of the time that it's actually what you feel like you want to eat. Like, that's pretty cool. That's a nice thing to do. That's definitely one of the best pros of dirty bulking, and probably why everyone does it, let's be honest. If you eat things like Nutri-Grain, well, you can eat things like Nutri-Grain for breakfast, which is like an Australian cereal if you don't have it where you're from. Protein up and goes for secondsies, bacon and eggs for 11sies. You can eat like a fucking Hobbit. This shit is unreal. It's the best part of dirty bulk is the eating you can do, the absolute sheer mass of eating you can do. Check out the Hobbit meal plan in the description. I didn't make it, probably a Hobbit did. Yeah, check it out. Why wouldn't you want to eat like a Hobbit? It's an effective way to put on weight very quickly as well. This is another pro. You can be very creative with what you eat and that sort of stuff, basically. Cons. Here's the important part, all right? Cutting down feels way worse than normal. You're going to go through about a month period where your body's metabolism is all kind of fucked up. Maybe even less than, maybe like 2 weeks. And you'll be probably low on energy. You're probably getting more hungry all the time because your body's just been eating so much that it's not used to dropping down as far as you might have to go to cut down. And trust me, Icarus flew too hard to the sun. You will have to fucking come down from this someday. You will have to come down, okay? Trust me. Unless you're gonna be unhealthy with it, you have to come down at some point. Another thing is you put on lots of fat, and if you're someone who's already struggled with the weight thing, then putting on even more excess fat isn't great for the physique and runs the risk of getting, gynecomastia. I think it's how you say it. Gynecomastia is actually how you say it, which is basically man boobs, and there's no shame in that at all. But it hurts self-esteem and self-confidence more than anything else. Long periods of dirty bulking build up stretched skin. I have this on my biceps here, and I only gained like 10 kilograms during my dirty bulk last year. Well, actually, it was like 92, or I was 92, 12 kilograms of excess weight, and you start to see little stretch marks. That's actually fine. But when you go higher than 10 kilos and you're bulking, this is when you start to see real stretch marks. I have a friend who has stretch marks down to maybe a couple inches down his arm, just because he went from 80 kilos like I did, but he went to 100 kilos instead. He got an extra 10 kilos than I did, and now his stretch marks are showing, and it's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing in the world. So there is that as another con. The next thing is it builds up pretty bad eating habits, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's not disciplined is what I mean. Basically, you're eating whatever the fuck you want with protein in it. That's the general goal of a dirty bulk. What I would used to eat would be, bacon and eggs, like I was saying. Protein up and goes Nutri-Grain, and you'd have that twice a day sometimes if you wanted to. Like, if you really want to have a whole dirty bulk out of the day, that was it. You gain maybe a kilo or two every week or 2 weeks. Insanely fast growth. The next thing is lean bulking. Here's what it could look like for you if you're wondering what it could look like for you. A pro is you feel fucking great. You feel pretty good most of the time. Basically, it's hard to explain, but you're clear and you have clarity and you just feel better about things. You feel more mentally strong, I guess. You gotta say this is where you're way more disciplined in your eating. You actually eat the things that you should be eating, and you're staying healthy and within boundaries. When you get really good lean bulking and you get ahead of the crowd in muscle mass, I have a friend who's been lean bulking for 3 years and he's done nothing else but lean bulk. And I guess he's just been like maintaining and recomping and lean bulking, just focusing on lean bulking. You don't have to know any of the slang that I just said. He's one of the biggest guys in our group and he looks, if not the best in shape, one of the best in shape. The next pro is it's clean and you don't put your body through excess fat or carbs at all. The next thing is if there's a direct connection between how strong you are and the work you put in, there is, not if there is a direct connection between them. Basically, if you train hard and you eat really well, you will see results, and there'll be rewarding results because there won't be much butt muscle you're putting on. And it's like seeing the light when you leave the gym and there's just like there's birds flying in the sky and there's like fresh air. It's clean, it's disciplined, it's fresh, and it shows great patience, great results with patience and time. What am I, fucking Gordon Ramsay? Basically, it's a great option for the long run. You can lean bulk for the rest of your life if you really wanted to. Settle down with a wife and kids is what I'm trying to say. Next thing, the last thing is, for pros, you can try out different foods that are all high in protein and lower fat that you can consistently eat over a few weeks, test it out, build a discipline, be creative in what you eat in that way. It's not easy, but once you get used to it, you build up the knowledge, then you can get ahead of the crowd pretty quickly as well. Here are the cons, though. There are some serious cons to a lean bulk. Here's a dangerous one. Lean bulking can ruin your relationship with food if you let it. If you only eat clean food all the time and don't ever have food that's fun and you actually enjoy to eat, you run the risk of ostracizing yourself from one of the most enjoyable things in life, basically. That's not really what you want to do. You want to at least have something fun every now and then. Every Sunday you have a cheat day is a good example of that. The next con, less serious. You're going to want a multivitamin supplement. Just go to the shops, buy multivitamins, cheapest ones you can get. They're fine, probably. I'd prefer to get a normal, it says it has everything in it, multivitamin. That'll ensure that you're not missing out on any massive nutrients from the foods you're eating, because with lean bulking, you're eating a lot of protein, not a lot of fat, bit of carbs, and so it's easy to miss out on massively important nutrients in your life. The next thing is, you get slower muscle gain than dirty bulking. That's probably what everyone's fucking waiting to hear, okay? Like, much slower. It would take you probably double the amount of time to gain muscle mass lean bulking compared to dirty bulking, all right? In my experience, that being said, if you want to build strength, you can always train like a power lifter using a powerlifting program found on Reddit or something like that. Like, I used to know someone who I used to go to the gym with. I hit 100 kilograms of bench. I was going for 110 couple months down the line. This guy hadn't hit 100 kilograms yet. The next time I saw him, before I hit 110, he had already hit 120 kilos on bench, which is fucking nuts, all because he followed a powerlifting program. Before I say the last thing and give you good advice at the end, please like and subscribe. I do like asking you to do it. If it's an effective video, I think it's going to be an effective video. Please feel free. The things that I ate, all right, that's the cons done of lean bulking. The things that I ate on my lean bulk during my cut recently and my lean bulk, I guess now, is I ate shit tons of protein shakes, lots of eggs, three eggs a day. So I probably say 2 protein shakes a day, 3 eggs a day, usually just the egg whites. I usually hard boil my eggs and then I would just eat the egg whites around them just because that's like how I like to do it. It's probably not as cheap, but it is way more tasty for me. The next thing I'll eat is fish, like salmon for breakfast, tuna for lunch, whiting for dinner, that sort of thing. You have it all with rice, that's fine, doesn't really matter. Or you can have the salmon with the eggs. That's actually how I prefer to do it. Also, you can eat chicken, that sort of thing. I actually can't stand eating chicken too much, so especially chicken breast, I just prefer fish. If you are going to eat chicken, stick to the chicken breast. It's way more protein in it. And the last thing that I'll have for dinner is like a high protein meal. And that's usually like My Muscle Chef. They'll have like a 30 kilogram or 30 gram protein, 20 gram carbs, 10 grams fat meal that you can eat. And it's pretty much going to cover all your calories that you need. Now that I've said what I eat, how do you actually manage what you eat to decide if you lean bulk or dirty bulk? This is going to be the last part. It's quick. I'm going to cover it pretty quickly. Be advised, all right? To gain weight, you're going to have to increase your calorie surplus, and to lose weight, you're going to have to decrease it, which you probably already heard. If you want an idea of what your calories should be at maintaining it, you can go to calorie counting or a calorie counter. I think it's on the internet. That's what I used for me. And you can use an app after you've got your calories from there, like MyFitnessPal or Macros, and you can figure out how to track your calories using those two things. Why you should use one of these apps is that you need to be in a surplus, like I said, whether you're dirty bulking or lean bulking, okay? So you're not shredding like I am, you're trying to gain muscle. So you're gonna be always in a surplus, but it depends on how much, okay? There are rules for this. Dirty bulking, you wanna be eating much more than your calorie surplus, which is over 300. And if you're lean bulking, I think it's only 100 or 200. Sometimes even 300 itself as well, as long as you're eating enough protein, and it's mostly protein. That's how you build up muscle and you look like your dream physique, the one that you imagined from earlier in the video, okay? I don't track my stuff every day, so you don't have to take it this seriously. All I'm saying is that once in a while, lock in and put down your most consistently eaten foods in that day. Say, for example, 3 eggs, salmon for me, protein shake, high protein meal, fish and rice. And that'll be my usual eating plan. I'll get my results back. It'll say, I've hit my protein goals, I've hit my fat goals, I've hit my carb goals, and that's that. It's that simple, basically. Courage can change any outcome.